Live from Pix 11 with today's top 11 stories. It's the Pix 11 Midday News with John Muller.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Midday with me, John Muller. Here are your top 11 stories on Pix 11. Number one, closing arguments wrapped up in the trial of the Bronx.
John, what I can tell you is that the judge in this case just announced in the courtroom that there would be no verdict, and it is a judge, not jury trial, until July 15th at 3:30, and he could delay it further, but that's the next check-in date next Tuesday. Take a look at some video we shot of 19-year-old Abel Cedeno. His defense team argued that what he did inside the Urban Assembly School for Wildlife Conservation back in September of 2017 was self-defense, and he brought a knife that he used to school for protection after being bullied. The prosecution made the case during closing arguments that the knife was brought there because Cedeno was looking for a fight, and they pointed out that the suspect did not even know his victims well prior to this whole situation, that Cedeno was by an open door and could have gotten himself out of there instead of stabbing two victims in this case. Matthew McCree was stabbed to death, and Adrienne LeBoy was in a coma for 2 days. McCree's mother spoke about the defense doing what she called victim blaming and said it was downright offensive.
Like, everybody that's black is gang related. Like, we're all gang members. Like, we don't come from nowhere. We don't have nothing. All we do is just go around, join gangs, and do everything that's bad and everything positive, and that's racist. That's straight racist.
Much more from inside the courtroom and what happened today as we await the verdict early next week, and from McCree's mother on the Pix 11 News at 5. But for now, live outside Bronx Criminal Court, Henry Rossoff, Pix 11 News.
Henry, thank you very much. All right, number two, President Trump's Labor Secretary Alex Acosta resigns amid the Jeffrey Epstein sex trafficking scandal. Acosta taking heat for granting a sweetheart plea deal to Epstein back in 2007 when he faced similar charges of having sex with underage girls. Acosta was the federal prosecutor who allowed Epstein to avoid jail time. Acosta resigned this morning with the president at his side.
It would be selfish for me to stay in this position and continue talking about a case that's 12 years old rather than about the amazing economy we have right now. And so I submitted my resignation to the president effective 7 days from today, effective 1 week from today, earlier this morning.
Well, the White House says Acosta's deputy, Patrick Pizzella, will now become the acting labor secretary. Number three, former special counsel Robert Mueller's testimony before Congress likely to be delayed 1 week. He was originally scheduled to appear before two houses on July 17th, House committees there. The delay is that the Judiciary Committee will have now more time to question Mueller about Russian interference in the 2016 election. Singer R. Kelly arrested in Chicago, charged with federal sex crimes. He faces two separate indictments, one of them stemming from an alleged incident here in New York. Kelly and members of his entourage are accused of recruiting women and girls to have sex with him. Kelly was also indicted on 13 other charges in Illinois, including child pornography and obstruction of justice. The family of one of Kelly's accusers interrupted a press conference with Kelly's publicist.
He was arrested. Nothing new. The same charges. A decade ago.
Get all that, bro. Where's my daughter at?
The same charges he had before.
Is in there right now in jail. I want to know where my daughter is. Where is she at? Answer that question.
Miss Kelly was arrested yesterday.
Answer that question.
All right, a bail hearing will be held next week. 7 people, including 4 firefighters, suffered injuries when a 4-alarm fire broke out in the Bronx this morning. That call came in just after 6 a.m. About 200 firefighters responded to an apartment building on Watson Avenue. This is in the Soundview section. The FDNY said that fire broke out in the space between the ceiling of the top floor and the building's roof. It took a little over 2 hours to get that blaze under control. The firefighters' injuries are minor, but one civilian is in serious condition. A witness told us what he saw.
All I had is a bang on my door. Fire, fire. As soon as I opened the door, I grabbed my babies and I told my family, everybody, let's get out. And then I saw the firemen coming up.
How bad were the flames? How bad was it?
It was bad because the entire floor is engulfed with fire.
Well, fire marshals are investigating the cause of the fire. Number 6, police investigating the death of a 1-month-old found dead inside of a Bronx apartment. Pix 11's Nicole Johnson now live in Claremont Village with more. Nicole.
Well, John, a very sad situation out here. There's still more questions than answers on exactly what happened to this baby girl. We know police were called to the family's apartment here on Webster Avenue Tuesday afternoon for the baby not breathing. The mother made that frantic call. Take a look. The family lives here at the Butler houses. And once police arrived, they had a domestic violence situation on their hands. That baby was in bad shape. She was rushed to Bronx Lebanon Hospital, where she was pronounced dead. By Wednesday, an autopsy was completed by the medical examiner, and it was determined the baby died of blunt force trauma to her head. Of course, we will find out exactly what happened to that baby, who did something to the baby, because police are investigating this as a homicide and have that more information on the Pix 11 News at 6. For now, we're live in the Claremont section of the Bronx. Nicole Johnson, Pix 11 News.
So sad, Nicole. We will see you at 6. Number 7, a series of nationwide demonstrations today. The rallies are in opposition to ICE raids scheduled for Sunday that target undocumented immigrants. Pix 11's Kirsten Cole has more from Red Hook.
And we're here in Red Hook on New York Harbor with Lady Liberty over my shoulder to drive home exactly what these groups are trying to get across as they protest around the nation today and here in New York and New Jersey. Protests continuing across the country to protect a vulnerable population of immigrants under impending order of deportation who say they fled their homes out of fear for their lives in countries like Guatemala, El Salvador, and Honduras. Protests today called Lights for Liberty were inspired by Patricia Okumo, who scaled the Statue of Liberty on the 4th of July last year to protest detaining immigrants. Her message through activism:
families are being ripped apart, homes are being raided, immigrants are afraid to go to hospitals. This is not how we intend to live in this country.
Part of the issues, according to lawsuits, are widespread errors in the court system and even flagrant misdirection by immigration enforcement agencies, making it impossible for applicants to know their true court date. Advocates working to inform migrants of their rights in case of an ICE home visit, like not opening the door to their home, the right to an attorney, the right to say nothing. In addition to those protests, a lot of information coming out from elected officials aimed at these immigrants to let them know exactly what they can do to protect themselves. And there are also a lot of assistance being given by advocacy groups by way of legal assistance, help, advice, and access to attorneys. In Red Hook, I'm Kirsten Cole, Pix 11 News.
Kirsten, thank you very much. Let's take a live look outside. Great day to be on the beach. Check it out. This is a live picture of Point Pleasant Beach in New Jersey. Partly sunny skies this afternoon. There may be an isolated chance of a shower or thunderstorm. Temperature is going to be in the upper 80s. Plenty of sunshine Saturday. Low humidity with temperatures in the upper 80s to near 90. Nice weather continues on Sunday as well. Mostly sunny skies. Number 9, Tropical Storm Barry gaining steam in the Gulf of Mexico. Residents in Louisiana, they are bracing for potentially devastating floods. Pix 11's Calorama has more on the preps.
It scares me.
Store shelves emptied and sandbags filled as people get ready for Barry.
Heed every single warning. We're going to get heavy rainfall for up to 48 hours it could be.
Barry, currently a tropical storm, is predicted to become a Category 1 hurricane before it makes landfall Saturday. The slow-moving storm is expected to bring heavy rainfall, flash flooding, and storm surge.
The number one threat is going to be water, is going to be the flooding and the heavy rainfall.
A state of emergency has been declared in Louisiana, with mandatory evacuations ordered for low-lying parts of the state. Floodgates have started to close to lower the risk of flooding. The amount of water expected from this storm is a huge concern for state officials.
The National Weather Service, they're using terms like life-threatening floods.
Parts of New Orleans already experienced flooding this week.
There was a car out the front of our house that basically got fully submerged.
And the Mississippi River is forecast to crest Saturday at levels not seen since almost 70 years.
This will be the first time that we've had a hurricane make landfall in Louisiana while the Mississippi River was at flood stage.
14 years after Hurricane Katrina killed more than 1,800 people, you may remember there was a $14 billion investment in the city's infrastructure, and this storm will be the first major test on the updated drains and pumps to remove all that water from the streets as fast as we'll see it coming in.
All right, well, Women's World Cup champion and Long Islander Allie Long says she was robbed. The soccer star says someone actually broke into her LA hotel room after the ESPYs. Her wedding ring, cash, and the key to the city were all stolen. Mayor de Blasio says he will give her another key to the city. Finally, from the Pix 11 archives, in July of 1982, AT&T had big news. Video calling, in color no less, had finally arrived, but it was going to cost you. After watching Bill Jorgensen's report, you will never take a video call on your smartphone for granted.
11 Alive.
For businessmen, AT&T thinks its new service really is the next best thing to being there. The company inaugurated its new two-way video teleconferencing by placing the first call between New York and Washington, D.C. By the end of next year, the company says it hopes to have the full-color service available in 42 cities. Customers can either rent public rooms or elect to build their own picture phone facility. If you use a public room, a call lasting 1 hour from New York to Washington will cost over $1,300. The cost is lower if you use your own room, but there is a one-time installation charge, over $117,000.
Wow, 1982.